Hello children, welcome to yet another session of chapter number 13, that is Why Do We Fall Ill, and today is our fourth session. In our previous session we studied about personal and community issues related to our health. In today's session we are going to study about distinctions between healthy and disease-free state. So children, let us begin today's session with a simple question, that is, what do we mean by disease? What is actually disease? In our previous session we studied about health. What is health? And now I am asking you, what is disease? If you will break this word disease, you will get two words, that is dis plus ease. That means disturbed ease or discomfort in your ease. Anything which is creating discomfort or uncomfortable condition is called as disease. So literally disease means being uncomfortable. So one more definition is given here, that is, a disease is an abnormal condition that affects the body of an organism. It is often construed as a medical condition associated with specific symptoms and signs. We talk of diseases when we can find a specific and particular cause of discomfort. This does not mean that we have to know the absolute final cause. We can say that someone is suffering from diarrhea without knowing exactly what has caused the loose motion. It generally happens when a person suffers with loose motion. We say that the person is suffering with diarrhea. So without testing, without getting a medical report or without having proper proof, we say that the person is suffering from diarrhea. So there are some differences between healthy and disease-free condition. Let us discuss these differences. Healthy, it is a state of physical, mental and social well-being of a person, whereas disease-free condition is a state of absence of any disease in that person. Healthy refers to the individual physical and social environment, and disease-free refers to only that individual. There is nothing to do with environment or society in case of disease-free condition. In case of healthy, we say the individual has a good health, whereas in case of a disease-free person, we say that the individual may have good health or poor health. So we can now easily see that it is possible to be in poor health without actually suffering from a particular disease. Simply, not being diseased is not the same as being healthy. Good health of a dancer may mean being able to stretch his or her body into difficult but graceful condition. So that is a difference between a health and a disease-free body. Here I have taken one more example, that is in case of a musician. A good health of a musician may mean having enough breathing capacity in her or his lungs to control the notes from his or her flute. This is an example only. To have opportunity to realize the unique potential in all of us is also necessary for good health or real health. So we can be in poor health without there being a simple cause in the form of identifiable disease in us. This is the reason why we think about health. We think about our societies, communities. On the other hand, we think about individual sufferers also. Children, now there are some questions for you. You need to write down the answers of these questions in your rough notebook. And the first question is, State any two conditions essential for good health. The second question is, state any two conditions essential for being free of disease. And the third question is, are the answers to the above question necessarily the same or different, and why? Disease and its causes. What does disease look like? And how do we know that there is a disease? Or you can also say that how do we know that there is something wrong in our body? Something wrong which is occurring inside our body. There are many tissues in the body, and with these tissues we are able to carry out body functions. We have already studied about this in our previous chapters, in which we studied about cells and tissues. Each of the organ systems has a specific organ as its parts, and it had particular function in our body. We can understand this with a simple example. Let us take an example of a digestive system. Digestive system has the stomach, intestine, various glands which are involved in this, and all these organs and the tissues which are present in these organs helps to digest food taken in from outside the body. So the basic function of digestive system and the tissues which are present in digestive system is to digest the food material. Similarly, the musculoskeletal system which is present in our body is made up of various things like muscles and different types of bones, tendons, etc. And what is the function of these musculoskeletal system in our body? Its function is to hold the body parts together and help the body move. When there is a disease, either the functioning or the appearance of one or more systems of the body will change for the worse. These changes give rise to symptoms and signs of diseases. Symptom of disease are the things we feel as being wrong. Sometimes you get fever. That time your body gives you symptom that your temperature raises. So that increase in temperature or the symptoms which you get at the time when you are suffering with a fever are telling you that yes, something wrong is occurring in your body, or some infection is present in your body. So by increasing the temperature, by coughing or by body ache, your body tells that there is something wrong inside. And these symptoms make us alert so that we go to doctor or we get it tested whether we are suffering with certain particular type of infectious agent or other. Children, sometimes we suffer with headache, cough and cold. Sometimes we also suffer with loose motions or some wounds with pus in our body. So when you are getting headache, when you are getting cough, cold or loose motion or wound in your body with pus, all these things are symptoms of some infection or symptoms of some problem which is occurring in your body. These indicate that there may be some disease, but all these symptoms are not able to pinpoint that what the disease is. To understand this, let us take one example. A headache may mean just any type of tension or exam stress, or very rarely it may mean a disease, meningitis, or any one of a dozen different diseases. Similarly, signs of disease, what physician look for on the basis of symptom are signs of disease. Signs will give a more definite indication of the presence of particular type of disease. Although to pinpoint or to get the confirmed information about that disease, doctor or the physician always ask you to get a laboratory test done, because in that we can get the confirmed presence of particular type of disease. So here in this slide you can see that there is a patient which is having so many types of symptoms, which is suffering with some disease, and the patient is showing symptoms. These symptoms are moisture on the head, dizziness, and color of the cheeks is changed, nausea, temperature increase, and all these symptoms are examined by the physician, and then physician asks some question to the patient. Do you feel like this? Do you feel like that? And all these are the signs of disease, just to get the pinpoint reason of the problem which is occurring in the patient. Doctor asks certain questions, and these questions leads the doctor towards the sign of disease, and ultimately to confirm whether the assumption which a doctor is taking about the disease is correct or not, doctor suggests the patient to get a laboratory test done, because with the help of laboratory test we can pinpoint the disease present in that patient. Now here in this slide you can see the differences between signs and symptoms. Symptoms are reported by patient generally, whereas signs are noted by the examiner or the physician or a doctor. Symptoms are discussed in medical history. These symptoms can be of various types like cough, hemoptysis, and chest pain and shortness of breath, etc. Whereas signs are discussed in physical exam. These can be normal vesicular breath sound, crackles, wheezes, stridor, etc. So there is clear-cut difference between signs and symptoms. Now let us discuss about types of diseases. There are multiple types of diseases. These can be categorized as acute and chronic diseases. And these diseases can also be categorized into two different groups on the basis of whether they are communicable diseases or non-communicable diseases. So today in today's session we are going to study about acute and chronic diseases. So acute diseases are the disease which last only for short period of time and does not have long-term effect on our health. For example, common cold, cough, fever, etc. Children, you know that you get very easily the infection of all these infectious agent which causes common cold and cough, and soon after some time without taking any medication or without consulting to any doctor, without taking any pills for this or without taking any medicine for this, you get recovered from the cold automatically. So such type of diseases which affect your body for short time duration are called as acute diseases. Whereas in case of chronic diseases, the disease which lasts for a long time and has long-term drastic effect on our health are called as chronic diseases. For example, tuberculosis disease, which is also known as TB. TB generally affects lungs, and when the infectious agent of TB enters in our body, the number of that infectious agent is very less. It may be 1, 2 or more. And the process or the specific way of functioning of this TB bacteria in our body is different. That is, it enters in our body, we get infected by the TB bacteria, and then it gets control over our immune system. And then the number of bacteria increases in our body. And then when there is a sufficient number of these bacteria present in our body starts giving symptoms in the form of cough, pain, short of breathness, etc. So such type of diseases develop slowly in our body and affects our body very badly. and these diseases last for long duration in our body. So such type of diseases are called as chronic diseases. So let us discuss differences between chronic and acute diseases also. Acute disease lasts for a short time duration, whereas chronic diseases last for a very long time. Acute diseases do not cause any major effect on our general health, whereas chronic diseases have a bad effect on our general health and may lead to poor health. In case of acute diseases, which last for very short time, so they do not lead to loss of weight, fatigue, or any major loss in the body. Whereas in case of chronic diseases, they last for long duration, so they leads to the loss of weight and fatigue in the patient.